Alright, so Lichess changed their classical thing where they changed classical up a little bit. They split it into something called rapid and classical. So my rating is a little different in classical. This is an interesting game I played though. There's some pretty cool stuff in it. So let's get right into it. I had the white pieces here against a 2145. The usual knight f3. I've explained why in other videos. He exchanges. And everything up till now has been pretty just fairly normal. So now here's where it's sort of going to get interesting if he takes on d4, which he does. So I looked at a lot of things. I ended up going with bishop or knight b5. And I later found the engine likes bishop b5, but I think that is to me it just doesn't really make sense to play bishop b5. I feel like black can hold that really well, and it's really hard for me to. I can get some pressure with rook d1, but I'm going to get rook d1 in with knight b5 anyway. So the idea here is knight b5, queen c4, knight c7 check. So that's what I did. If I were black, it's almost interesting to take on c4 because the position gets a little crazy. I guess it would depend on the situation. Like if you're in a tournament, you absolutely had to win the game. I guess that would be the time to get a little weird. So for some reason I kind of didn't like bishop f4 because of like e5, but looking at it now, it seems like bishop f4 is probably the move. So yeah, here's where I line up on his queen. And now I have a pretty active position despite being down a pawn. Kind of the same thing as the last game. It's down a pawn, but I had a really active position. So I looked at a lot of things here. You know, I was looking at bishop e6, which doesn't work, obviously. But the ideas are still in my head here with bishop e6 because if let me see here, bishop e6, queen e6, knight c7, and I'm getting his queen. So that was kind of like, you know, something I was looking at. So then he's forced to take with a pawn. Do I have anything there? No. So I went away from it, but we kind of circle back to it though. So it's kind of interesting. And taking here is just a pretty straightforward idea that he can no longer take with the bishop because I have knight d6 check then. So he has to take here, and I mean that's pretty good compensation for being down a pawn. I have really active pieces. His pieces seem to be on the defensive, and now he has this doubled pawn. I don't know which way he can really castle anymore. He's got to hope to trade down or something. So that was my thought here. Is knight d6 looks okay, but I feel like it relieves some of the pressure on him. Maybe not too much. Yeah, maybe it's okay. But I saw this move and I liked it. Another reason I liked it is because I kind of was annoyed with like knight e5 type of stuff. So I thought that I needed to move my queen anyway, and what better spot than here? And then I think this is just a blunder because I have this next move here, which is the whole point in playing queen h5, pinning the pawn on f7. And then earlier I was talking about taking on e6, bishop e6, because he can't take with the queen because then I have knight c7. So same thing comes into play now, except now I'm taking on e6 and he cannot take with the pawn. So a thought or a tactic that I had thought would work earlier that didn't quite work, I came back to it. I didn't go out of my way to make stupid moves to get to it, but queen h5 made sense for other reasons too. So getting it in there looks good, and then I have it here. So obviously he's lost here. He can take with the queen and just lose his queen. It's pretty much, yeah, it's the only option because everything else is mate. So takes with the queen. I play knight c7, and that's just too much material. I don't think there's anything. Sometimes when you're gonna for sure be down material, you can try to create some kind of imbalance to where the position's a little tough to play, but I don't think this would be tough to convert. So he just resigned right here. So this is a good game. I like this little tactic I found. So hopefully I can keep winning, and I'll post the next one soon.